I'm Amber.
And I'm Tay.
Welcome to the Mood Swing Chronicles. We're so excited to finally share this space with you.
And before we get started, we just want to be clear.
We are not licensed professionals. Everything we share is from our personal experiences and there are personal stories.
So, by our stars, do not self diagnose.
If you feel like you're struggling and you need help, please, please, please reach out to a licensed professional. Again, we are not therapists. Okay? As some of you may or may not know, we're both from Trenton, New Jersey, and that's actually how we met. We were, 15 or
We're 16.
16, working at the YMCA as camp counselors. I love to say I was Tasha's boss, but that is how we met. And then I moved down here in 2020 to Charlotte.
And I moved August 2019.
And so, about 6 months apart that we moved down here, 2021 in August,
August
we were
2020.
both going back home to Jersey. I'm sitting there eating my Starbucks, and I see this person just waddling through the airport. All right, Tasha was very pregnant at the time with my goddaughter Indigo. So I'm like, I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm like, I think that's Tasha. And so I'm like, hold on. I scroll through my phone. I found her number. I'm like, are you at the airport? She like, yeah. I'm like, turn around, I see you. And then she just comes wilding over to me. And then we get on the plane. We're sitting right next to each other on the plane. It was a crazy coincidence. Like, we would have never guessed that this happened because we hadn't seen each other in
Years.
years, over 5 years.
Yes.
Basically, since we graduated high school, we hadn't seen each other. So it was perfect timing. Um, Tasha was going home for what?
If you don't, oh yeah, my stepfather had passed away.
And I was going home. I don't even remember why I was going home. We were both just on our way home and we found each other in the airport and we've been inseparable
Literally
ever
since.
since. She moved in with me at a point in time. We lived together for about a year and a half until she left me. But we talk every day, all day, and you'll get to hear our stories about how we even got to this moment to do this podcast soon. So let's talk about before our diagnosis. Were there any signs for you or anything that happened throughout your life that made your diagnosis make more sense?
I would say for me, once I got diagnosed, it did click. It was like stuff growing up. I would get really upset over something that most people wouldn't get that upset about, or when I was really happy, I was super happy. I was always talking. If you know me, I don't really talk unless I'm really comfortable with you. So things like that, once I got my diagnosis, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Or when I'll be like super happy and then out of nowhere, like I finally come down and I'm just sad and I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah. What about for you?
And see, I feel like I had the total opposite experience. Nothing in my childhood. I was very emotional. I cried a lot as a child. So in my head, I'm just like, I'm very emotional. But I don't ever remember having super highs and then
Mm.
feeling like I came really low later until my 20s. And that's kind of where it really happened for me in 2019, right honestly, before I moved down to Charlotte. I just remember being really high up. Um, but it still didn't give me an idea like maybe something's wrong. I just was like, well, I feel good. So, we're going to keep it rolling there. Um, and then coming into 2020, I moved to Charlotte in June of that year, heart of the pandemic. I moved down with my mom, no sense of what I was going to do. The job that I was coming down here for had lost because of the pandemic, so everything got
Mm.
shut down. And I moved down. My best friend came with me, and once they went back home, it was like everything stopped. And that's when everything changed. So months before then, I love to shop, but I was shopping for about 2 weeks straight. I had a package coming to my door every single day. I was
That is
barely
crazy.
sleeping,
Every day, ever.
almost like for a good 2 weeks every day. Like I was hiding. I was so bad. I was hiding stuff from if
Mm.
my best friend had came over. I was like putting things in my closet. Like I was forgetting. I'm like, let me clean this up. And that really was the first symptom that I
Mm.
had. I was traveling an hour and a half to go see people in North Jersey.
Oh
That was
yeah.
very unlike me, and I hate driving. So the fact that I would even do that, like, when it comes to dating, I don't really talk to many people. I'm talking to two, three people at the same time. Like, really just feeling like I'm just the best thing ever. And then I moved down here. My best friend went back home, and things really changed. And
Mhm.
that's when everything shifted. I hit a really, really bad depression, so bad to the point where I just took a bunch of medications, drank a bunch of alcohol, and I was like, this is it. Um, and again, I was living with my mom at the time. The only thing that saved my life was I had to pee. I had to go to the bathroom so bad, but I was under the influence of
There's
so
so much.
much. I got up and I fell,
And she heard
and
you.
my mom heard me. And she came running, and I just remember her yelling my name, and I'm just apologizing. I'm so, so sorry. I'm so, so sorry. And because I'm the type, I'm going to keep everything in. So my mom never even knew that I was struggling.
Mm.
And from there, in the state of North Carolina, if you know you have a suicide attempt,
You gotta go.
they automatically send you. I spent 5 days in a psychiatric hospital, which was the 5 scariest days of my life because you know you're there with people that have so many other mental illnesses,
Right.
and the stuff that I saw and I heard, I was scared. I was very heavily medicated. And that's where I got my diagnosis at, though. She asked me a series of questions, and I'm like, I don't know. My memory is so bad. So I'm like, I don't know. She's like, think really hard. And
Mhm.
so I'm thinking, and one of them is like, did you have any impulses? And I'm like, I mean, I do shop like a lot. I was shopping a lot. She's like, you know, how there
No.
was a check.
Check.
I'm like, okay. She's like,
Yeah.
are you doing any risky behavior, spending money excessively? And I'm like,
To you, it's not that
right.
crazy.
So to me, I'm like, no, no, no. So she like, okay. We keep going. She's like, do you feel like you've had a lack of sleep? And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, for months I was basically like getting 4 hours of sleep a night
And you can focus
and
and
focus and
do
going to
everything.
work, and nobody thought anything different. Um, and then she's going down the list, and she's just checking, and she goes back up and she's like, so are you sure you've never had any done any risky behaviors, a thing that was unlike yourself? And I'm like, not wanting to admit, I'm like, yeah. She's like, I thought so. So yeah, you have bipolar 2 disorder. And I'm like, what's that? Like, I'm so confused. I'm like, I'd never heard, like, I've heard of it in like movies
Mhm.
and stuff, but I've never known anybody to actually have it. So I'm like, okay, like, what is that? And so she explains it to me. You know, she's like, you have bipolar 2, so it's not as severe. So you have hypomanic episodes where your sense of self is just really like inflated, and you kind of feel like you can take on the
How
world.
you feel like the president?
Like, yes, the president.
Yes.
I am the most important person in the world. Everybody wants to talk to me. Everybody wants to know what's going on in my life. And she's like, but on the flip side of that, the higher up you go, the harder
Oh
you crash.
gosh.
All right. So my crash happened literally when my best friend went back home. Everything stopped for me. And it was just hard. You know, I moved down here. I had just graduated from grad school. I'm excited to finally get a job. I lose my job. I'm in a new place where I don't really know many people. And now my best friend, who was my person at the time, was
Mhm.
gone. So everything that I had knew and everything that was comfortable to me was over. And I didn't know how to handle that. So I was just so sad about everything. Like I said, I spent 5 days there, scariest 5 days of my life, trying different medications, you
Mhm.
know, and hopefully a lot of you listening have never been to a psychiatric hospital, but everything is little. It's so tiny, tiny toothbrush, tiny toothpaste, tiny soap, mirrors gated off so you can't obviously break it or like harm yourself. People constantly watching you. The first day I was so scared when I was there, I didn't want to leave my room. And they were like, you have to leave the room. If not, we'll lock your door and force you to be outside with everybody else. Because if you're in a depression, the worst thing to do is be by yourself.
True, but then you lock you out your room. What you gonna just stay in the hallway?
Yeah, you go to the common area where everybody else is. And so when I say I'm crying from the hospital, I'm crying. I'm in like a back of a police kind of car to the hospital. I'm crying. I get in there, I'm crying. They take everything away, right? Can't have your phone. You can only call whose numbers you remember.
And that's the crazy part because you really that's the time that you don't remember anybody number.
3 people: my mom, my brother, my best friend. Only 3 people I talked to the entire time I was in there because those are the only numbers that I knew.
Right.
And you know, I had it was you make friends. The first day I didn't eat because the dinner that they had was I didn't eat beef at the time, and I think it was some
Mm.
type of beef. I had vegetables. I had like peas and carrots, And I didn't know. They were like, well, you could have ordered like something special, like a chicken sandwich. And I'm like,
Like, y'all didn't tell me.
nobody told me. So I'm just starving. It's hard to sleep. I'm tossing, I'm turning. You have these thin sheets. It just was a mess. But it saved my life, right? That experience saved my life. I was able to finally figure out what was going on, why I was just so high up, at that moment, why I always got really sad. And years before, I was diagnosed with like anxiety and depression, but they never really connected the two of why my depressive episodes were so bad until then. So that made sense for me. And going forward, it was kind of just like, okay, so where do we go from here? And they set me up with psychiatry and, to keep my meds regulated. When I first came out, I was on about 15 different pills a day just to keep me alive, right? Just to get myself back to normal. And yeah, that's my story, really, how we got here. It was very traumatic. I think, honestly, for more people than me when it first happened. I apparently had made a post on Instagram telling everybody goodbye. And it's crazy because I deleted Instagram off my phone.
So you must have made a post and then deleted Instagram.
No, Instagram was deleted before I made that post. Somehow, in my chaos, I re-downloaded Instagram and made a post, and I'm gone. And so people are contacting my mom and contacting my brother, like, is Amber okay? What's going on? My mom doesn't know. My mom doesn't find me on Instagram, so she has no idea what's going on. People are calling, and it's late, like it's like 2 a.m. So people are not really seeing it till, then they're calling my brother. My brother's in Michigan. He's trying to get in touch with my mom. And my mom's just rushing me to the hospital. And they had to contact Instagram somehow and get the post taken down. Yeah. Because they didn't could get into my phone. They didn't know anything. So they got the post taken down. I get out the hospital. I have hundreds of messages. Instagram, text messages, phone calls, like crazy amount of things going on. And it was good to hear from people, that I never even imagined. They're like, please, like, I hope you're okay. Like, you're going to get through this. Please let me know if you need to talk. Like, what's going on? And people are confused. Like, and I laugh about it now because it's really like, how did I do that? Like, I had deleted it off my phone, like, days before. I took a social media break. I deleted all of my social media. So I'm like, how in the midst of all this chaos, being under the influence of all this, do you re-download Instagram? My message made no sense. Because again, I'm on a bunch of medication. It basically was like, and it was a message that I had sent to my best friend.
Oh wow.
And I sent it to Key, I sent it to Aaron, I sent it to Danielle, everybody closest to me, and it basically was just like, I love you all so much. Thank you for everything. I'm so sorry. I just can't do this anymore. And that basically was what it said. And again, made no sense. So stuff was jumbled up. So people are like, what are you talking about? Like, they're responding, and obviously I'm not texting back. And they're just text me. They had to end up, like, my mom saw the messages, and so she was able to call them and let them know what happened. But it just was the craziest experience. Mind you, this is 3 weeks before my 25th birthday. So the beginning of August 1st, this all happened. And so Key, Danielle, and Aaron, who I call my sisters, came down to celebrate my birthday with me just to make sure that I was okay. But it was the hardest birthday that I've ever had to go through. And it was crazy. It was crazy.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah. And again, nobody knew that anything was wrong besides my best friend. She's the only person, because that's who I was talking to.
Right.
But it wasn't helping because I'm not going to blame her, but like her leaving was part of the reason that it happened. So it was hard to talk to a person that
you felt like caused this to happen.
Right. Yeah. And again, not blaming her at all, not saying she's the reason that I wanted to die. It just was losing the connection that we had.
Plus moving like everything at once.
Right. Just losing so much at once. Really just it took everything from me. It really did. So
I can get that. I understand that.
That's my story. Tayshia's story is very different than mine, thankfully.
My story started actually when I was pregnant with my daughter. To me, it was just like mood swings with the pregnancy. I would spaz out over the top not being over the toothpaste, somebody leaving the top off my juice, just little things like that. But what really triggered me to figure that something I need to really talk to a therapist was my daughter's father went to his hometown to sell a house. And I just created this big scene. I was so upset, going off, and nobody can really understand why. And to me, it was a trigger because I went through my pregnancy with my youngest son alone. And so that was something I stressed to him, like, we're having this baby. Do not ever leave me. We want to break up. We can break up after the baby. But do not leave me during pregnancy. And so we were still together, but him just leaving, physically to go to Erie triggered that. And I went to Erie once with his mom, and I ended up flying out to Erie again by myself. And I had to he was supposed to pick me up from, I think, Cleveland, Ohio. So I flew to Cleveland. His cousin and him was supposed to come get me. Something happened. And so the right thing to do was go back to Charlotte. But what did I do? Get on a Greyhound bus to travel to Erie, Pennsylvania. Pregnant.
Highly pregnant.
Highly pregnant. And out there, just we fought, we fight the whole time. I ended up coming back to Charlotte. It was good for a while. And then August is what, to me, it really put me into that spiral. It was my stepfather died. And I remember that day perfectly. I called my mom. We're talking, She was like, your dad didn't take Trinity to school, but his car outside. I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe he's asleep. Like, maybe he's somewhere else.
Right.
And so then she's like, I'm going to take a nap. Cool. I'll call my brother. I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I'm playing the game. I'll call you back. I'm like, Dean, I just want to talk to somebody.
Nobody want to talk.
Nobody want to talk. I just want to talk to myself. I'll call my sister. I'm like, hey, Trinity, what you do? She's like, I'm about to clean my fish tank. Do you want to walk me through it? So I'm literally step by step telling her how to wash her fish tank and what to do with Luca, or I think it was Luca or Lucas. And all I hear in the back is my mom scream. I just hear her scream. And my sister go, I'm going to call you right back. Having then talked to my mom, she not answering the phone. My brother not answering the phone. My sister not answering her phone. But she's texting me like, everything's okay, everything's okay. But I don't know, like, deep down,
right,
something's not okay. So later on that night when my ex's mom get home, she's like, your mom want to talk to you. She's on the phone. I'm like, why my mom on your phone?
Right.
When she got my number? And my mom just like, Tasha, I just want to tell you, your dad is an angel. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yes, he died. Like, he's an angel. And I just remember screaming, broke down, just cried. And then I called my ex and tell him, like, I had to call him a few times. I'm like, why you didn't answer the phone? What were you doing? He was like, I was doing something. I was like, my dad died. And he was just like, just went froze. Didn't really say too much. Like, I'm sorry for your loss. I'll figure this out. Because he was still in Erie. And I'm just sitting there like, how do I get back home?
Right.
So that night, because he died August 4th, 2021, that night I got on the phone with my best friend and another friend. And I told them, they cried with me. And they're like, what do you need us to do? I'm like, I need to get home, like, by tomorrow. They brought my ticket, put their money together, brought my ticket back home. And that's when I ran into you at the airport. We've been locked in ever since. And from there, I went to a little depression, but I had to, feel like I had to be strong for my mom, especially for my sister. And so after he passed, after the funeral, after the service, and then it went after my daughter. Her dad and I were getting into about little things. And let's say I had like on a Wednesday. That Friday, Monday, I'm on a flight back to Jersey. I'm packing up my stuff. I'm going back to Jersey after a C-section. Literally. My dad's like, oh, you can go. And people like, well, why he clear you? Because, I was going to go regardless. So I go to Jersey, get to Jersey, fresh off the plane, get into it with my nanny. And I'm just getting into it, like falling out with people again. So I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in North Carolina. Like, I don't want to be nowhere. But what I do then? Decide, okay, I'm going to go back to North Carolina. We're back to North Carolina. And just still spazzing out, getting mad about everything or being, to me, I was depressed. I'm like, maybe this is postpartum. And so I talked to my therapist, and he was just like, this is no longer like pregnancy. He's like, none of this was ever pregnancy stuff, because who has a baby to get on a flight to go to Jersey? He's like, you have stitches.
Literally.
They're not healed. You're still bleeding. Like, your stomach is still bleeding. Like, why are you on a flight? He's like, you're lucky you did not die.
That pressure on that flight, like, who? But when again you're in a certain mood, you don't think about stuff like that. And again, that's that risky behavior that comes with manic episodes. And you're just like, whatever I want, I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't care about the consequences of it,
Mm-mm.
and that's the scary part about it because you don't think about it in that
No man.
moment. And that's what makes having bipolar disorder so dangerous.
Yes. Yes. Especially that, like, looking back, it was like, oh my gosh, it's really crazy. I had a newborn baby.
Right.
But thankfully, like, I wrapped her up really good. She slept the whole flight there and back when I decided to come back. So, and then when I got back, still crashing out, still sad, still mad, still going through all of that. And so I talked to my therapist, and like he said, this is not pregnancy stuff. You don't do that. He's like, I'm gonna put you in contact with this doctor and have her do an evaluation. Now he never really told me what the evaluation was, and because you told me to talk to the therapist too
Yeah.
after.
I said,
You're like, where you at, Jason?
Right. I said, why are you there? You just had a baby. I just couldn't do it. I need to get back, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, but you just had a baby. And she just didn't care. And I'm
Didn't care.
asking her questions because, again, a year before, I just went through all of it. So I'm
Mhm.
understanding. I'm looking at the signs, and I'm like, I think you got bipolar disorder, too. And she like, what? I'm like, you need to go
Mm-mm.
talk to somebody, And I'm happy again for my diagnosis because then I was able to help you because if
Right.
I was never diagnosed, who knows where we
What?
be right now?
Yeah,
Like who knows
literally.
how your life would be going. Um, but yeah, and I always say maybe I should have been a therapist or a psychiatrist or something to, you be able to just help people out and just really experience it. So
Yeah.
after you got your diagnosis, how did that clarify everything for you? How did it make
For
sense?
me, it made sense, like, for things that happened when I was younger. It really would in my pregnancy. Like, why was I so triggered by that I did X, Y, and Z?
Right.
Why did I have a baby and just decided to go back home to Jersey and not even thinking? And then I don't want to be there no more and to come back to North Carolina. So
Right.
it made sense why I was doing those type of things, and it cleared up a lot of things for me.
Yeah. Again, like I didn't have anything in my childhood, but it made so much sense. I'm like, I was really wilding out
Mm.
from the end of 2019 to the beginning of 2020. And I'm just like, wow, okay. And, some people when they get diagnosed, and I don't know if this happened for you, have like that period of denial.
For me, I didn't have that now because I knew something was off even my pregnancy, but I kept trying to push it like, oh, it's just mood swing because I was diagnosed with depression in my pregnancy. So I was like, maybe this is this. And then once I got diagnosed, I was like, okay, no, I wasn't tripping.
Right.
Like, something is literally wrong with me to do this stuff. So I was okay with the diagnosis. I think what I was a little denied with was the bipolar 1 versus 2. Because she's like, you have a mix. She's like, I'm going to leave more to the first one because what you just did.
Yeah.
She's like, nobody with bipolar would do that. You have a newborn baby, you jump on a flight, and just like, okay, I don't want to be here no more either, and come back to North Carolina. And looking back too, I was taking flights. My sons was in Jersey with their father, but I was always in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Literally always in Jersey. Pregnant, flying. Literally. The baby flew so much while I was pregnant.
Baby got freaking flyer miles.
Yes. Now I'm thinking about like, dang, I was really back and forth.
Yeah.
Until I had her.
And then was still back and forth.
And yeah, even after I had her, still back and forth. Because I went up there for Christmas Eve, no, New Year's Eve to celebrate with my mother for her anniversary with my stepfather. So
Yeah.
still, I calmed down though. I haven't been to Jersey in 3 years.
Yeah.
December make 3 years.
And I always say, like, I joke, and I don't want anybody to take offense to this. I always say Tasha's the crazy one because I got bipolar 2 and she got bipolar 1. And again, we both have risky behaviors. We both have really impulsive moments. We both go through depressions. Just with bipolar 1, it's a little more heightened.
It's high, and it can last a lot longer.
Yeah.
And that's looking back, like I was really in a manic episode. And my doctor would say it didn't look like the average manic episode. She's like, you didn't feel like you was a president. She's like, but you was just, she's like, you were just doing all this stuff for so long.
Right.
And you didn't know why.
And it's scary to come out of it once you realize what was going on. Because again, the higher you go up, the harder you crash. And that's what one of my psychiatrists told me. And so I had to learn my triggers. I had to learn if something happened or I talked to somebody or somebody says something, what is going to trigger me to go into a hypomanic episode. right? And it was people, unfortunately, that I wanted to talk to the most, right?
Mm.
After I left, my best friend again was my person. We've known each other since we were 8. But because it was part of my story and how I got diagnosed, talking to her triggered me. So I
Right.
couldn't talk to her for a very long time because I was angry. I really was. So it was just like, you left me. I'm here by myself. I have nobody because it was before I didn't even know Tasha was down here.
Right.
So it was just like talking to her hurt. So I couldn't for a while. And then when I tried to, I'm like, okay, I'm still not over it. But I go through more depressive episodes, whereas Tasha has more manic episodes, and that's also typically a big difference between 1 and 2. So again, if I have a manic episode, I'm just not sleeping. I'm talking a lot. I'm shopping a lot. Right? Tasha gone.
I'm gone. I'm also talking a lot because everybody know me. Like, I'm very quiet unless I'm super comfortable with you. I'm talking to strangers on the street. I'm saying good morning. I'm doing stuff that I normally don't
Right.
do. On top of maybe surviving off of 2 hours of sleep, working when I was doing overtime. Oh my goodness. Survive, work 14 hours, and only slept for 2 hours and back up to do it again.
Right.
Like, I was perfectly fine.
3 days in a row.
3 days in a row. 3 days in a row.
Surviving off of barely any food in Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius. Cracking again. Cracking again.
Oh my goodness, yes,
Cracking
that's Tasha's happy juice right there.
Happy juice.
That's for sure. But I don't know if you can say this, but I can say I am grateful for my diagnosis. It clarified some things, but it set a lot of stuff in motion for me to actually care about my mental health more. Again, I had been on medication before when I got diagnosed with anxiety and depression. I had seen a therapist, I had seen a psychiatrist before, but nothing ever made sense. I'm like,
Right.
okay, I got this, but okay, medicine wasn't working, this wasn't working. And I'm just like, nothing's making sense. Like, I'm still feeling not myself. And so it wasn't honestly until I got diagnosed with this when I say, that's why I was doing all that, right? That's not really, again, going to see people an hour and a half away is not who I am. No. I hate driving 20 minutes.
I know.
I'm not driving to North Jersey twice a week for 2 weeks straight, right? And it's just like little things like that. Like, I'm not sparking up conversations and trying to get to know multiple people at one time. That's just not who I am. All right, but then I would overreact. You don't text me back in 20 minutes. I'm confused.
Blowing up your phone.
I'm
what
double
is this?
texting.
What are we doing?
I'm double texting. I remember the person that I was going to North Jersey to see, who will not be named. I did not get a message back from him, and I blocked him. I unfriended him on Instagram, everything. And then again, I'm so far gone. 2-3 months later, requested him back on Instagram. And he like,
what you want?
So you just not even, I'm like, hey, big head. He like, so you just not even going
acknowledge what you did.
I'm like, well, I ain't like your response and you wasn't talking to me, so I just felt like I needed to disconnect myself from you altogether. He like, but you didn't even like give me a chance. You didn't even say anything. And that's how I felt. And so for me, I don't like confrontation. I'm going to continue like everything normal and copacetic. Like, yeah, I've been gone for 3 months. What's up?
Like, no, you have to address the issue.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry. So can we start again? He like,
no, girl, you crazy.
Mind you, I'm in Charlotte by this point, so it don't even matter.
Accent made that.
I'm in Charlotte by this point. It don't even matter. I'm like, so we can't do no long distance? Like, no, and that's not me. But again, all of this happened before my diagnosis. So I don't know what's going on. And then afterwards, I'm like, I was really acting out. Like, I ain't had to do that to that man.
No, you unfollow him and blocked him.
Yep.
Was he blocked from your phone too?
Yep. Couldn't get a message through. So when he finally did respond, I don't know. But he could try to email me. No.
Oh. We don't do that no more.
I ain't trying to order that. But you said you're the opposite?
Yeah, I would blow. I don't do this anymore. I don't do it anymore.
We're
healed. I would blow somebody's phone up. Call them, text them. And don't let us be my ex. I would blow them up. You not texting me? I'm going to call you my where you at? So, but I learned not to do that. You don't text me. It's okay. I'll get back.
I'm probably more like that now, honestly, than and it really depends on the person.
That too.
I should say it depends on the person, because with that person, no, I'm just whatever. I'm blocking, and I don't block people. But depending on who it is now, I'm gonna text you. So do you hate me? Like I'm asking questions. Like, so you don't like me no more? Okay, don't even worry about it. But again, this is like 20 minutes. Like, I don't even give people time to respond. Because you should have your phone to be wanting to talk to me.
Well, we all know that's not how that works.
When I'm there, it is.
But that's, okay, I can see that, because usually when you hang out with someone, they always on your phone, always on their phone, but then when we're not together, they're never on the phone. Okay, I get that.
So, I just feel like we should be talking. But I'm also that person. I feel like we need to talk every day.
Yeah.
With my best friend, I'm used to talking every day, all throughout the day. So I honestly felt like that's how relationships of any sort were. Right? And then I had to come to realize, like, that's not healthy to have to need and to codepend on somebody to always be there, to know that they care about you or that they love you. So I had to learn that. And again, I learned that through my diagnosis, to be like, that wasn't healthy. It is okay to have space. Now, again, there are boundaries, because you go 3 days without talking to me. Why? Like, you don't just let me know that.
I feel like we can talk throughout the day, but it don't have to be every hour on the hour. Like, to give us something to talk about at the end of the day.
Like, me and Tasha, we talk all throughout the day.
We talk through on different apps too.
Listen,
different conversations on different apps.
Everything, right? But if Tasha don't text me for 2 hours, I'm not blowing her phone up. So you're not gonna text me back, unless it's something really important. And I'll be like, hello. But trust me, if I don't answer the phone for Tasha,
I'm leaving messages.
She leaving voice videos now.
Calling, yes, that's my favorite. And if she gets to the point she really don't answer, I'm calling your mama.
Mine, she's got my location, so you know where I'm at. Why are you calling people for it?
She answered the
phone.
And
now her daughter does the same thing. She leaving me videos like, Mia, what you doing?
Mia, answer the phone.
Call me back. Or just random stuff. All right. But I learned through everything, and that's why I said, like, almost dying, it saved my life. Right. I have found so much more to be grateful for. I learned myself, so I know, like, if I'm going up, I know when it's happening. It happened a couple weeks ago. I'm just super happy. I'm talking a lot. My therapist is like, I think you're having an episode. I feel like you're a little bit hypomanic right now because you're talking a lot. And usually I have to, like, ask you questions and get you to talk. And I'm researching stuff. She's like, don't buy anything. Because she knows. She's like, wait 3 days. And if you still want, no, I didn't that time. I 100% didn't. I forgot what I ordered, but I surely did not. My iPad, this iPad right here.
Yes,
this iPad came through a hypomanic episode.
That makes sense looking back. Like, you was trying to everything. Like,
everything.
Let me use this account.
Everything. Shout out to Affirm. But yeah, no, it was just not going through. They canceled it. I'm like, call Tasha, let me try on your account. And I think that's actually how I ended up getting it. And Tasha just going along with me. Okay, here you go. And next therapy session, I got the iPad in here. She like, I thought you weren't supposed to. I affirmed it, and it was on sale. And she's like, girl, you were supposed to wait 3 days. And I said, what you told me to ask people. And Tasha said yes. So I'm like, I'm thinking I'm validated. And she just is like, don't do that again. Again, next time, wait 3 days. Ask 3 people, right? Like, give yourself time to feel like if you really need it. Because I am an impulse shopper. But I also will return something in a heartbeat. But I'm like, I did my research. I'm up all night researching. I'm asking my brother, who's the techie. I'm asking my family, like, oh, which one should I get? I'm sending links. And I'm like, I finally found a perfect one. And I just brought it. By the time it came. And a case. And a pen. I was so excited. I just setting everything up. I'm just enjoying myself. And then I'm like, Dad, I ain't have to buy that then. But I'm going to make these monthly payments. And again, I did everything. Because I really couldn't afford an iPad at the time. Right. But Affirm said I could for a year. Pay these $40 a month for 12 months, and I can afford it. And we've been locked in. I've been doing good. I've been using it, because one thing I will do is buy something that I feel like I really need and never use it again.
Oh, I know. That's how I'm becoming to take stuff.
Like my Starbucks cups addiction, 30-something Starbucks cups. Don't use them anymore, because now I have my Circle water bottle. So now I feel like I don't need them. So if you want a Starbucks cup, let me know. But yeah, so that's kind of how everything makes sense though.
Yeah.
And I don't know if for you, if think everything just makes more sense, even though I feel a little, I don't want to say crazier, but sometimes I do feel a little more off. But at least I know what's going on now.
Right. That's for me because I literally just came out of a Munich episode a few days ago. So that was me. Like, I knew that. I knew once, I don't know if I was talking to my cousin or my little sister. And I said something. And she was like, "You really think you the president? You think you Big Daddy T?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Why would you?" She's like, "Why would you say that to me?" It wasn't what I said. It was the tone
Right.
of it. And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then I just been talking to the customers at work. I just be talking to my neighbors, which I don't even do. I can't even tell you my neighbor's name. Having a conversation with the lady across the hall.
Right.
Every day. So that made it make more sense. But I haven't been impulsive, no risky behavior. I just been more it made me focus more on work. No risky behavior.
Okay. We'll leave that there.
That's for another time.
Yeah,
another
that's a topic
story.
for another day. But at least it's not like dangerous, risky, right?
Right, it wasn't dangerous.
She's not getting on flights and doing things that aren't good for her health or whatever like that. Yeah. That's not happening. But like she said, we're gonna save that conversation.
It's a conversation
for a different day.
But yeah, it did all tie together, and I really think me being diagnosed, it helps me. But it made me build a better bond with them.
Right.
Because then they understand me like, okay, mommy doing this, like, we know that we need to make sure she's not buying us extra stuff, because my kids, they'll know when I'm super happy, like, okay, mommy buy us whatever. But I don't really go through any depressive episodes now. They're all just very high, and I come down, it's like a medium now. I don't crash anymore.
Shout out to medication.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Shout out to Wellbutrin.
Which is our next episode. So come back to hear more about that and kind of just our journey with that. But, you know, and I will say again, we'll talk about it deeper in our next episode. Medication for a lot of people is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm going to leave it here. But I feel like people have it's a bad stigma around medication.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lifesaver.
Yes, it really is.
It saved my life, because when you're at a point and when your brain is off balance,
mm-hmm.
right, it's only but so much meditation that you can do.
Right. You can only pray it away for
so long. Right? It's only but so many things that are going to help you get through it until you find something that regulates you again. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's not to say you have to be on medication for the rest of your life, but you do have to find a way to be okay. And that's something I had to learn and just advocate for myself, to be like, I don't mind being on it, but I'm not being on this much stuff. We're going to have to figure two things out that work. Right. And again, like I said, next episode, we'll definitely go into kind of how we got to where we are, into our medication that works for us, to help us stay who we are. These are our stories. And as always, do not use our stories and our journeys to say, oh, that happened to me too. You know, I must have the same thing. Talk to somebody, right? Let them know what your symptoms are.
Right, but do not self-diagnose, because
not self-diagnose.
That causes you to start self-medicating.
Yeah,
and that's a whole different bad shit.
Yeah, and you go down a rabbit hole. Because I did it before I even got diagnosed, and I'm like, oh, this is what's wrong with me, and it's completely not what's wrong with me, right? And again, in other episodes, I got way more stuff wrong. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah, so our next episode is about my meds, my business, where we be talking about our medications, our side effects, the possible, like I said, judgments that come through, how people feel when you're on medication.
Right.
You know, holistic things are very popular right now, so a lot of people are just like, well, try this and try that. I'm like, no, thank you.
I'm gonna take my Wellbutrin.
I'm gonna take this medication, right? And I'm just gonna keep doing what's best for me. So we're just getting started. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 1. We're so glad you're here. Until next time, protect your peace and take care of your mind. See you next week.